Good morning everyone, welcome to the video. I hope you're all having a great Monday morning, new week, new start, new day. Welcome to the video, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like the video, and on we go. So, Monday morning now, a bit of time has been and gone since Newcastle lost to Brighton and Hove Albion. I was tempted to do the video there and then right after the game, but I thought a visceral, instinctive reactive video was probably not the way to go, because it was not a great performance, which we're going to get into, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was straight away at the end of the game. So let's have a look at it. Starting 11, there was only one change. It was the expected change in my eyes. It was the logical change to put Matt Targett in at left back, shimmy Dan Burn over to the centre of defence, and obviously bring Sven Botman out. There are arguments, and a lot of people are getting frustrated with the transfer policy. Hindsight's a beautiful thing, which I'll get into in a minute. But back five, sorry, of Nick Pope in behind, the flat back four of Matt Targett at left back, Dan Burn left centre back, Fabian Schär right centre back, Kieran Trippier captain right back. From there on in, it was exactly the same. Midfield three of Tonali, Bruno and Joelinton. Very surprised to see Joelinton start. I thought, from what I'd heard, he was a bit of a might do, might not. And considering we've got Anderson and Sean Longstaff on the bench, I thought Elliot Anderson was an obvious solution in that left midfield channel. Bruno in the middle and Tonali on the right, but there we go. Anthony Gordon started at the left wing, Miguel Miron started the right wing, and then Alexander Isak through the middle. So, what happened? The first 5-10 minutes, I thought we were the better team. We had chances. Alexander Isak had a chance less than a minute in. The ball, I think it's Bruno played the ball down the channel. He took the ball on. I think he hesitated a little. I think he would have liked to have got around the defender and then slide it across goal into the bottom corner, but he hesitated. Defender got across, and in the end, Isak shanked it wide. I think he shanked it wide because it wasn't given as a corner, and I think the replay showed that he'd sort of like stumbled on it. We then had there's three notable chances in the first half for us. There was that one. There was another one by Isak. Or four chances, but three proper ones. Another one by Isak. I think Tonali cut the ball back and it came to him. It bobbled to him and he just completely shanked it again. Very unlike Isak. You know, he's usually got very, very crisp, sharp technique. But he whether he wasn't expecting it, I don't know. And he just went high and wide. Then there was another one. Was it Tonali? No, it was Isak this time. Had done some good work down the right-hand side. Cut the ball back. And the only person in the box was Anthony Gordon on the left-hand side coming in, and he'd overshot the pass at the time. Where was that late runner? Where was the Joelinton, the Bruno, the Miggy, or even Sandro Tonali? But there we go. That been and went. But another obvious one, I think, was it? I'm pretty sure it was in the first half. Yeah, it was. Joelinton sort of waltzes through and has a shot with his left foot and it goes wide. You're like, oh God. But the first one, that Isak one where he hesitated, like I said, after that, Brighton started to creep into it. And then it was after the second Isak shot, the shank shot that was wayward. It was from there on in, Brighton completely took over. I was saying to a friend of mine pre-game that a midfield three, combining they click, a midfield three of Tonali, Bruno and Joelinton should be more than a match for the likes of Pascal Gross, Solly March, Billy Gilmore, etc. How wrong we were. They completely bossed us in midfield. Joelinton, that was the worst I've seen him play since he's been put back into midfield. I would argue that was as bad as some of his centre-forward performances. Now, I'm not going to slate him saying he's shit or anything, but it looked clear to me that he so obviously did not need to start that game. He shouldn't have started that game. He looked tired, looked lethargic. He gave the ball away. He didn't have the same snap and bite that he usually has. But you could say that for all three of the midfielders, to be honest. The game, again, was won and lost in midfield. We got dominated in midfield. I don't think we were dominated in midfield against Liverpool. Certainly weren't against Aston Villa, but we were against Man City, which you got to expect. But Brighton were all over us. Those three at the minute, Tonali, Bruno and Joelinton, cannot play together. I don't know what the problem is, but there's so much... Like, the second goal, the Brighton second goal, I'll go through each one in a minute, but the Brighton second goal, there's a huge gap between defence and midfield. Dan Burn and Fabian Schär, I think it was primarily Dan Burn, steps off him. None of the midfielders got any interest of making a tackle, and he just has the time and space to whip it into the bottom corner. Fabulous finish. But yeah, but Brighton, you got to give them credit. They played us off the park in every department. They were better. Every scenario, every situation, every facet of the game, Brighton and Hove Albion were better than us. They had more energy. They were first to every ball. They were dominant in the tackle. Their passing was crisper. They played us around all the time. Matoma, I thought, had the better of Trippier for most of the game. Trippier made a few good tackles on him earlier. I thought, you got his number today. And Matoma kept coming at him and little jinks inside. But yeah, the first goal, let's get out of the way. Nick Pope, my word. I was shocked that he wasn't in the England squad because I think he's probably the best English goalkeeper in terms of pure goalkeeping. But now the game's moved on. It's not just about pure goalkeeping anymore, is it? He's been a little bit suspect with his feet ever since he joined. It's very rare you see us playing out from the back from a goal kick. It always goes up. But my word, he comes steaming out of his goal like he does all the time at the minute. You remember it a couple of times last season. Obviously, famously against Liverpool, it didn't work. But every game I've seen, he's come steaming out of his goal. And I don't know what happens. He goes to wrap his foot around. He's right-footed, so it's like the better angle for a right-footed clearance to thump up the pitch. And he just... No, I don't know what to say. I really like Nick Pope. And I know he's a goalkeeper. And I know he's in the breed of goalkeepers that aren't so football orientated. But you're a professional fucking athlete, man. And I was just like, Jesus Christ, what's going on here? Go straight to that Estupian or whatever, the Brighton left back, I believe he is. They play around with it. We can't clear it. Billy Gilmore thunders a shot at Pope. Now, in commentary, they made out like it was a prime Roberto Carlos. It's the strongest shot that's ever been struck. It was far from it. It was a good, solid strike. Nick Pope, can he do an awful lot with it? I think he tries to gather when he should have just gone, I don't know, just fucking pound, but get a solid hand on it. And it doesn't matter if it goes over the bar or if it goes straight out in front of you, but get some power, get a good connection and fucking get rid of clear for a second. Doesn't happen. And it's just sort of bounces off his chest. He chests it down for Evan Ferguson. 1-0. Oh my God. Brighten up the pressure. And it became clear that our priority was to just go into half-time 1-0. Come out second half, and it looked better. We had a couple of minutes of not solid 2 minutes worth of possession, but we had a couple of minutes where we had a lot of the ball. I thought, oh, this is better already. But then the cracks start to show. Joelinton's getting bullied in midfield, giving the ball away. Bruno Guimaraes is showing glimpses, but he's way off the pace. Tonali was probably the best of the three, but still learning the league, still learning the team. Do you know what? I'm so surprised that Sandro Tonali has started all 4 games, you know. It's so unlike Eddie Howe. I know Sven Botman started the second game of the season last year against Brighton when he probably didn't want to, but that was due to injury. But he took his time with Bruno, took his time with Isak. I don't know why he's just trying to shoehorn Sandro in. But anyway, the cracks were starting to show. Gordon faded very quickly, although he kept trying. He's a grafter. Miggy was ineffective. Isak had a couple of good touches. First half, I thought he was our best player, but second half, he was quiet again. Then you go 65 minutes. Like I said, they play the ball through the midfield. There's a gap in the midfield. All three of our midfielders haven't bothered. I don't know whether they're either exhausted, as the whole team looked knackered. 4 games into the season, I know we had a hectic pre-season, but it looks like we've been playing. We've just played the second leg of a Champions League final after a long season, Champions League semi-final, because they just looked exhausted. I know it was hot yesterday, on Saturday, sorry, but my God, there's 2 teams playing out there, and they weren't affected. We just looked knackered, lethargic, uncoordinated, just drained. So whether they were just too tired or just didn't bother or were caught out, I don't know. The defence back off, and Ferguson, 18-year-old centre-forward, I would be throwing some serious money at Brighton in the summer for that lad, if he's still there. Whips in a beautiful finish. Someone texted me saying shocking goalkeeping. It wasn't. That was a great finish. Outside the box. Shearer-esque. On the odd time that Shearer curled one, I'm thinking Shearer of the Blackburn days. Then 5 minutes later, fuck me, it's 3-0. And this was a kick in the teeth defensively, because Ferguson gets the ball. I think he takes it on his left foot. He's shooting towards his right and it goes to his left. But because it's a nice story and it's a hat-trick for the 18-year-old, they give him the goal, but it's an own goal really. But the most upsetting thing was Fabian Schär just half-assed raises his leg. Lackadaisical defending, and that was the Fabian Schär of the Bruce era. I'm sorry to say it. Not a care in the world. You know, there was 27 minutes left to play that game, including added time, was the 7 minutes. You know, if that stays 2-0, Wilson scores his goal a bit sooner, we're well back in the game there. But no, it was it can't really be out. Better look like I'm trying. Fuck me, horrendous. But yeah, Sean Longstaff come on, Elliot Anderson come on, Callum Wilson come on, and harried, and in the 90th minute he got the other side of the defender, a lovely finish. But the game had well gone by then. I was optimistic. I started to think, 5 minutes left here, this could be interesting if we scored again quickly, but no. Brighton took the kick off and just squeezed the game, and then they were like, right, now we're just going to knock this around, boys, and put you out your misery. But yeah, let's go through it. None of the subs did anything wrong. I thought Sean did okay when he came on. I thought Elliot Anderson did okay when he came on. Wilson obviously scored a goal. Who else come on? Jamal Lascelles came on and got an assist. Who was the 5th? Harvey Barnes came on. At one point, yeah, Barnes came on and Isak came off, I think. Did Isak? I can't remember. But yeah, the subs, none of them did it. Pulled up any massive trees, but none of them did anything wrong. But the starting 11, let's just go through. Nick Pope conceded 3 goals. One of them was directly his fault. So you've got to say, not a great day at all. Trippier, he'd probably give him a 6 out of 10 because he was trying to play us forward. He was trying to get the team going, but Matoma was more than a match for him. Fabian Schär, 5. Dan Burn, 5. Got pulled all over the place by Evan Ferguson. Tried to use his physicality and his size and strength to bully him, but it didn't really work. A defence is not built on one person, but my word, do we miss Sven Botman. My God. Matt Target, I thought he was crap, to be honest. Not crap, but disappointing. His first start for a while, chance to cement himself in the team again, and he just didn't really. Wayward passes, getting bullied, not great at all. 3 midfielders dominated again. Bruno seems to be the one that's always left on. Tonali's been subbed off 4 times out of 4 now. I don't think it would hurt Bruno to start the next game on the bench. I'm not writing him off. I'm not saying he's shit anymore, but he's way off what he normally plays at. And I think he could just do with, because he's such an, we saw with his Twitter spat, we see it every game on the pitch. He's such an emotional person. It means so much to him, and I think he might be really feeling the pressure now. That Liverpool game has hurt us in a big way. So I think it might be worth taking Bruno out and just taking the pressure off him for a game. He can come on as a sub. Joe Linton was rubbish, but he's still injured. He must be. Front three, I thought Miggy was predictable, ineffective. Let's call it 2021 Miggy. Isak feeding off scraps because he's not getting a lot of support, but his finishing was crap. If he had his shooting boots on yesterday, we would have been 2-0 up. 2-0 up away from home. Confidence through the roof, cruising. Probably would have gone on to score 3-4. But there we go. Anthony Gordon, I thought he tried and tried and tried, but he had the lowest touches of the ball at one point, deep into the game as well. So why are we struggling so much at the minute? That was the worst performance I've seen from an Eddie Howe Newcastle team. It was a very un-Eddie Howe-like performance in terms of the intensity was nowhere near. Nowhere near. Say if Newcastle against Tottenham last year, the 6-1, or Newcastle against Aston Villa last season, the 4-0, was sixth gear, right? We're in second. We're in second, feathering the break there. The intensity is nowhere near it. We're really struggling to keep the ball. Defensively, we looked shot to pieces. You know, this was the best defence in the league not 6-7 months ago. We obviously missed Sven Botman, but we can't like put all our hopes on one centre back. You know, they look like that Liverpool defeat is really knocked the sting. Not the stuffing out of this team. It knocked the stuffing out of the fans a bit. It took me, you know, wasn't even at the stadium. I'm not in and around the city. I'm watching from afar, getting up when I can, and it took me 3 or 4 days to get over. That's why I didn't do a video straight away on it. It took me 3 or 4 days to get over it. I had to turn my phone off. The stick, and I can take stick. Don't get me wrong. Like, been following Newcastle for as long as I have. You know, you get used to people taking the piss of your team. That's fine, not a problem. But it was Liverpool. It had to be them, didn't it? The way we lost the game, but that seems to really knock the stuffing out of us. So in that respect, I think a break. Now the international break's come at an opportune time. I know Eddie in his post-match presser said he would like another game as soon as possible, and I'm feeling a bit like that now. It's the old head versus heart scenario. Like, in my heart wants another game right now. I want to turn the telly on and watch Newcastle smash someone right now and give those boys another chance to make up for their mistakes. But the head says it's a cauldron now. The pressure is on social media, the radio's talking about it, it's on the TV, it's everywhere. The players it'll be in their heads when they go to sleep. The fans, families, oh my God, I'm just watching someone absolutely butcher a parallel park here. What are you doing? And I think the players could do with, go on bro, in your bed, could do with just chilling out for a bit. Not chilling out, but not having the pressure of the Premier League coming down on them. A lot of the players going away on international duty. It'd be nice to get them off and playing with, I hate to say it, better players, which are going to be, you know, like Bruno and Joe Linton. If they're away with Brazil, I'm sure Bruno is, you know, surrounded by Vinicius Junior, surrounded by, who else of Brazil got some amazing, you know, like people like Neymar and Marquinhos and, you know, that calibre of player. Wilson's going to beat me up with Maddison and Grealish and, but I'd say Harry Maguire then. Harry Kane. who else we got? Sven Botman would have been going off to train with Van Dijk and Memphis Depay, but obviously he's injured, so I'm hoping we lash him to a treatment table at St James's Park and just let him have a little run around when he's better. So yeah, that might be a good thing for the players. You know, get away from the Newcastle cauldron at the minute. We've not had a great start to the season. 3 defeats on the bounce now, and everyone's talking about the Champions League fixtures. I'll get to that in a minute. But just a bit of escapism. Another thing I wanted to touch on was the transfer policy. Now everyone's moaning, like I said, hindsight's 2020 and all that malarkey. You know, we spent 60, 70 odd million on fullbacks, and neither of them have started a game yet. One of them's not even been on the pitch yet. You know, we got no obvious defensive midfield player. A lot of people thought Sandro Tonali was going to be a DM, a number 6, as we call it nowadays. I said when we first looked like we were going to sign him, he's not that player. He's dynamic. He's up and down. He's box to box. Told you so. But yeah, we do need to sort that out because there is gaping holes in our midfield. That's why Phil Foden's an enigmatic generational talent. I hate people who say, oh, he's a generational talent, but he really is. And he was in that 10 position, ripped us apart. Salah didn't rip us apart, but their 2 goals came from passes in that number 10 position where they were not picked up. On Saturday, it was that thing all day. João Pedro was dropping off the defence and picking up those spaces all afternoon. Evan Ferguson's his second goal came from that position. Has the Champions League affected us before we've even set foot in it? I think it has. I think this is no coincidence that this week the Champions League draw was made. Did the players have their eye off the ball? You'd like to think that, we've just been drawn against AC Milan, PSG, Borussia Dortmund. I better play even, I better make sure I'm on the ball now because I want to be in the team for those games. But it was the reverse effect. Were they distracted? Is there anything in that theory? I don't know. I will say our worst spell of form last season came off what was in and around the or prior to the cup final. You know, we lost to Man City, we lost to Liverpool. There was a period where we couldn't score a goal. You know, we drew away to Bournemouth. There was 0-0s. That could be something. But yeah, it was just a spanking by a very, very good team, and the guy who's going to get all the attention is a young 18-year-old from Ireland called Evan Ferguson, who looks the business. If he's still starting centre forward for Brighton next season, I will be very, very surprised. One game does not make a man, but he had the talent was shown last season when he scored the odd goal towards the end, and now he's doing it properly. Dan Burn and Fabian Schär had far from their finest games yesterday, but it was caused by Evan Ferguson. His performance wasn't in spite or because of their bad performance. It was a direct result of his brilliance, if that makes sense. I butchered what I'm trying to say there, but there you go. You know what I'm trying to say. Right, wrap it up. There's no need to panic whatsoever. The boys will come through. There'll be a big response post-international break. I already feel sorry for Brentford. I think they're going to get their ass handed to them at St James's Park. Bruno Guimaraes going to be amazing. Tonali's going to snap someone in half in the midfield, making a good tackle. We're going to be fine. There's no need to panic. Okay, a lot of Newcastle fans are going in, oh, how out. Bullshit. This man has been the best manager we've had for 2 decades. Better than Benitez was. Better than any manager we've had from Sir Bobby onwards by a country mile. Okay, we've had the hardest start to the season that any other team's had. I know every team's got to play. There's no easy games in the Premier League. I get that, but Aston Villa at home, City away, Liverpool at home, Brighton away. All 4 teams that are in and around our position in the top 8. You know, Brighton have got European football. Manchester City are the current best team on the fucking planet. Liverpool missed out on the Champions League, but they're in the Europa League, and I think Villa are in the Conference League. No need to panic. We're going for a sticky spell and but the The bad thing was that our sticky spell has been exposed up against the better teams in the league. If we'd have played, no disrespect, if we'd have played Luton, Sheffield United, Wolves and Everton, all right, the performances may not have been there, but we would have got the points, believe you me. So no need to panic. 100% trust all the players, all the management, the manager, Tyndall, Hal, Meerdad, Amanda, Jamie Rubin, all of them. There's no need to panic. Every player, every manager goes through a sticky spell in their careers. Right. Last thing I will say. Last season, we got spanked 3-0 at Villa Park. What happened in the next game? Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. If you didn't enjoy the video, thank you for sitting through 25, nearly 26 minutes now. Much appreciated. Cheers.